Hello, Hershey, and hello, Kara, and hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yay!
Oh.
So, thank you to all our family and friends, and new friends in the future. We know na this session. Our prayer is that it would bless a lot of listeners, and kung ano man yung makuha nyo, we really hope na you would learn something, just like how we learned like lessons whenever we go through the foundation group sessions. And yun nga, we had our FDE session earlier within the day. It's our
Yes.
session 6 out of, it's actually 8
Eight ka
sessions
ba?
total. So
Hmm.
naka-anim na tayo today.
Oh, malapit na pala.
Yay!
Ang
Gagraduate
bilis
na.
lang.
Yes. And for today, our topic was ministry in word. And the focus of the session was actually nakakaiyak siya for me. Siguro it depends on what like a person is going through, but for me, it hit me hard because of the story that was shared by a couple. Yeah, and again, we'll share the link in the caption in the description. But the gist of the session was about challenges in the life of an entrepreneur, and basically about brokenness, leading with a limp. So um, it's a nice topic because it's very authentic and genuine. Yun. Kasi
Hmm.
'di ba, as business people, as entrepreneurs, we have this tendency to put up a front. Not because you want to fake it, but because you want to show positivity, we want to inspire, but at the end of the day, there are some brokenness, sometimes. So, ayun. So, and it's a good reminder now we have to be dependent on God pa din, wherever we are in the entrepreneur life that we are in. Ayan, okay. So sige, hindi ko alam kung ba't hinihingal ako, pero dahil hinihingal ako, I would like to call a friend. Baka mas maganda niyang maumpisahan yung sharing ng takeaways for tonight. So, let me call on Tara. What are your takeaways from the
Yeah,
session?
thank you, Ate Andre. Siguro I wanna just answer again one of the questions kanina and expound more on it. So one of the questions was how did God work in your weaknesses, through your weaknesses, and how is he glorified? Something like that. So two moments in my life that I vividly remember that he really just utilized my weaknesses and really broke me for him to be glorified was one of the times before I actually started my business. That was when I was on a crossroad kasi nga I was also having a midlife crisis na parang what do I do now, because I've worked in the local advertising industry for 4 to 5 years already, and I just feel like I'm not for the industry because it's such a cutthroat agents. It's such a cutthroat industry. Everyone's working for awards and recognition. There's even that toxic crab mentality that you have to work yourself through, even if it takes having to hurt other people or even lie about yung mga false advertising, mga ganyang sorts. But then at the same time, that was the course I took in college. So parang, what do I do? This is the only course I know, and almost all of my batchmates and classmates are in the industry already. So at the same time, I thought it was an excuse for me to just, alam mo yun, ayoko lang talaga yung mag-endure ng hardships, ng mga toxic clients. Because, di ba, there are times that God would call us to endure those toxic clients and embrace all the cross. But at the same time, sabi ko, it was already costing my mental health. Actually, for how many years, I would wake up, tapos pagod na ako, naiiyak na ako, na parang ito na ba, is this life like and I was already a Christian then, but I was struggling with my mental health and anxiety and depression because of the toxicity of the industry. So at the parang sa heart ko, I know that God is calling me to greater things, but I just don't know what it is. And ayun lang, parang my husband was actually the one who came up with the idea that he said, why not create your own agency and build it with values that are aligned to your values. If ayaw mo ng toxicity, then those are the values that you can bring into your company or into the business. So ko, pwede ba yun? First of all, like, yun nga, I'm very introverted. I don't like talking to people, or like I have a hard time managing other people. Siguro parang yung responsibility of people under my wings parang stresses me out kasi syempre these are lives of other people, and at the same time parang hirap ako to be relational, like syempre to be intentional, you have to be intentional with these people. You don't want these people to just be your employees, diba? Parang you want to build that kind of relationship with them. So those are my struggles, pero ang galing lang because it's really God who has met me in every weakness and every struggle that I have in the business. So even now, parang just looking back at it, it's just very humbling kasi ang daming ganong moment na ayoko na to, ayoko na. Parang, yun nga, I had a moment, parang I was reminded with Moses and God when God called Moses and asked him to bring the Israelites out from Egypt and to the promised land. And Moses was so hesitant because he was being succumbed by all his insecurities, lahat ng he feels like he's not eloquent enough, he feels like hindi ko kaya to, I cannot lead I cannot lead people. But it's just so humbling because it was God who just reminded him that it was me who created you, created your mouth, and it is me who will put words into your mouth and through your mouth. So yun lang, every time then I just get intimidated and I feel just overwhelmed by the pressure of the business, of what the business entails. I just get reminded. I remind myself of that moment that Moses had with God, and yun, it's an everyday thing because there would be times na sobrang filled ka with the spirit na yes, I can do this. Pero minsan napupunta siya sa point na nagiging pride. Alam mo yun, yung parang I yung pala we often forget na it was God pa din, it was still God. So there's always that heart check and that parang there's a thin line but asking God for help, but at the same time, if He helps us, we don't take any credit for that. So meron akong, I'm actually reminded by a story from this book by Max Lucado. I don't know if you've read this, but it's not about me. Yun yung title of
I
the
love
book.
that
And
Nabasa
book.
ko din
yeah,
yun.
right.
Favorite
Then
author.
I think
Isa sa mga favorite ko yan.
yes, merong story doon, like beginning of the book when there's actually this what do you call that, Ate Angie? Yung ano ng paintings. Ang tawag sa kanila?
Oh,
What do you
yung
call them?
Nag,
Nagpe-present or
parang
nagpe-present,
guide ba siya?
nagki-curate.
Hindi. Yung parang nagdadala sa mga guests sa mga different
oo, parang
paintings.
ini-explain nila yung different paintings. Parang so they have an audience and they're the ones who like present the painting like this is the painting from the story ganyan. So
Baka art guide. Iniisip
art
ko.
guides. Again, let's just
Parang,
call them an art
let's just
guide.
call those people art guides.
Yes. There's a story, parang Max Lucado was saying that there's this art guide who was just very happy about his work. So he would present these different paintings, like sino yung author, sino yung painter, yung story behind the painting, everything about it. And tayo naman when we have those art guides and we have those paintings, you look at the painting, diba? You just listen. You don't look at the art guide. But then after a while, bigla yung art guide nagkaka ano, parang insecurity na parang ba't hindi na ako yung tinitignan? Ba't hindi parang I should get the glory because I'm the one um explaining these paintings, diba? The painting is beautiful. Parang ba't hindi sila tumitingin sa akin? Bakit I don't get the glory? And wala lang that when I read that story, I was just reminded of myself because there are many moments that God would ask us to glorify Him through our work, through what we do. But then there would come to a point na pride would take over and creep in, and biglang magkaka-moment tayo na, bakit hindi na ako yung why am I not getting the glory? Why am I not getting the credit? Na parang, Lord, parang dapat si Lord dapat si Lord, at the end of the day, it's still Him who should get the credit and the glory, and that's what fully brings us satisfaction. So, yun lang, my prayer for all of us, for entrepreneurs, that every day it's always a heart check for us to really make it less about us and really ask God His purpose for the business. And regardless of the outcome, siya yung He will be the one who will get the glory. So yun lang. And then second thing pala, just to add to one of the things that I learned from tonight is that great things take time. And there's this principle that the speaker shared kanina, yung patient capital, that it takes time, and it's during this time na God would work in our hearts and equip us and train us. Minsan kasi parang, actually may mga moments ako ngayon, since business is kind of slow, parang minsan, oh Lord, parang ready ka na? Parang hinihintay ko sa Lord, yung feeling ko, parang may ginagawa siyang iba na parang, hi, I'm waiting for you to, make my business thrive. But it's not that We shouldn't be waiting on God, but really actively preparing ourselves, because at the end of the day, baka minsan tayo yung nagsuslow down ng process. So, even now, like, I look at my other competitors in the industry, parang they're so out there na parang ang dami na nilang ginagawa. Tapos sometimes, lalo na as a mom, I feel like, sorry, pero parang I feel like na nasa slow down ako as a mom. But then I also need to remind myself that God has put me in the season as a mompreneur na there's no rush, there's no competition, na parang walang race. So yun lang, parang I will also have my moment, I will also have my time, but it shouldn't cost my time with my family and with my son. So, ayun lang.
Ganda. Naalala ko rin
Ah.
tuloy yung story. Yung kay Max Lucado na story niya sa yan.
Yes.
Gaganda ng books niya.
Yes. Thank you, Kara. Ang daming ang daming naalala. Whenever you would share something, parang, ay, wait lang, nakarelate din ako doon. Ay, wait lang. So, ayan, thank you. And parang naisip ko ngayon, nasa na ba yung book na yon? Kailangan kong basahin ulit. To be reminded that it's not about me. Yay, sige. Ako naman, ang ganda ng question kanina. Like, how has God used any brokenness, failure, or weakness in your life? I think generally, brokenness has been used by God, like for me, so that I can always go back to Him. He used it to draw me closer to Him, draw me back to Him, kasi I would have that tendency to swerve. And if things are going okay, kunwari, this is going well, I just have to continue, and then suddenly all the passion and then the enthusiasm nandun na, tapos biglang napapalayo pala ako kay God. So ayan, so for me, all the brokenness has led me back to Him. And merong word kanina yung isa sa mga speakers sabi, sometimes if God has to take away business to remind that He is God, parang so be it. So parang ganun. So parang I went through that season actually last quarter lang. I won't go to all the details anymore because this will be public. But basically I went through like emotional, mental, physical, and economical challenges before my solo exhibit last January. Ayan, as in yun na lang yun na lang, let's define it like that. Emotional, mental, physical, and economical challenges that led me to question again, parang, God, tama pa ba 'tong ginagawa ko? Tama ba 'tong mag-e-exhibit pa ako? Ano bang pinapaglaban ko? Tutuloy pa ba ako? Puwede pa namang mag-cancel, nakakahiya lang, pero ayun, parang I was really about to quit. But then every time I would read his word, there would always be enough encouragement each day to help me continue. Yon. So that happened quarter 4 of 2022. And then exhibit was January. And then economical, like, financial, to a point na, God, I still need canvas. God, kulang pa ako ng canvas. So I would pray, and then God would provide the exact amount na yung kailangan ko. Hanggang sa 3 weeks before, God, madaming artworks yun, kailangan kong mag-rent ng van, I need this amount. Biglang may dadating. God, kailangan ko magpa-frame, this amount, ganyan-ganyan. Yun. Pero, all those time na nagpe-prepare ako, I felt broken. Alam mo yung feeling mo na para kang sundalo na sugatan ka na, pero naglalakad ka pa na papunta sa gera. Yun. It was really like a battlefield. And then I had questions like, God, in this certain place, artworks about you don't sell. There are other preferences, not necessarily about faith. Paano yun? Tama ba itong, tas January pa, kakatapos lang gumastos ng mga tao nung December. People would be saving, people have spent their money, and then people are on vacation. Sabi ko, tama pa ba itong gagawin ko? Maling-mali na January ang schedule ko, parang ganon. But then, yun nga, God would encourage me through His Word. And then, I read a passage one time na the insight that I got there was God was encouraging the person to just go wherever God wants him to go, say whatever God wants him to say. Parang yung kay Moses, 'di ba? Or para din yung kay Abraham na God asked him to, or God instructed him to go up the mountain, do this, do that, sacrifice Isaac, ganyan. And pero 'di ba yung nung umaakyat si Abraham, feeling ko somehow masakit 'yon, naakyat siya, alam niya kung anong gagawin niya na he will be letting go of someone. So ayun, basta ang dami-dami, puro challenges, but then there would always be encouragement nga from God. And then on the day na of ingress, January 16, we were to transport 55 artworks. Lakas ng ulan, 5 AM, nandiyan na yung van, hindi kami makalabas kasi ang lakas ng ulan. So daddy ko and brother ko, pabalik-balik sila, they were trying their best na hindi mabasa yung artworks kahit na nababasa na sila. So yung putik, tapos naka-hoodie na lang sila, hindi nila kaya magpayong kasi nga nagbubuhat sila. Ilang balikan sila inside, papunta sa van. Tapos mga 1 hour din yon. And then, my brother was carrying the last piece of artwork na the biggest painting in the exhibit. It was a lion painting. And it was the key piece in the exhibit. Siya yung nasa harapan, nasa front. And for me, it represents Jesus is the Lion of Judah. Someone having full authority over heaven and earth. And the title of my exhibit was Yada to the King. Sabi ko, God, hindi to magigets ng tao, but then I still want it to be about you. I don't care if wala nang like mabenta, sige, syempre God, I'm praying for sales. I pray to recover financially. But if the exhibit is just about, if it means, if it's all about you being known, being glorified, being the center, so be it. Okay lang, God. I know that you will provide in some other way. Basta ito pa rin yung exhibit ko. So there would still be Red Sea, Grace, Cornerstone, puro ganon. There would always be like stories, and it's about faith. And then, going back to the ingress, my brother was carrying the last piece. And then, nakaka-goosebumps siya kasi it was the biggest piece. My brother was carrying it. It's as if a soldier was parading like a banner, like the victory. And I felt like God was telling me, it's okay, I got this. And then, like, for my mom naman, ang impression sa kanya, this has been your prayer for so many years. Your whole family worshiping me, glorifying me. And this is it. Ayun. So, para siyang victory banners. Parang, okay na, okay na. And then ayun, the whole day happened so fast. There was worship time. And the exhibit, it was really, it was really like a worship and family event.
Mhm.
So, I was overwhelmed for so many days, for about a month. And ayun. And of course, God was able to like redeem all all the challenges. Parang biglang nawala. Parang nawala na, parang naalala ko pa rin sila, pero alam mo yun, the glory that God showed was nothing compared to all the challenges talaga. I mean, sorry, the challenges were nothing compared to the glory that God showed me after the exhibit. And for me, all those brokenness were crucial, so that it's as if God was testing me. Are you still gonna hold on to me? Or are you gonna let go? Are you gonna twist? Are you gonna bend to the ano ba, standards of the world? Or are you gonna cling to me? So for me, that's how God used the lowest point, the brokenness, yun, before the, before the promise, before seeing, the promise fulfilled. Ayun, so yeah, that's it. Sabay ganun, ano, thank you. Hershey, you wanna land?
Niland mo naman. Sabi mo, the
Land mo
challenge.
naman.
Oo, sinabi mo. So, ano naman,
Sige.
yung
Pwede
glory
mag-add
ni
ng
God.
landing. Yes, mag-add na ako ng landing.
Ago.
Ano siya, parang, di ba, imagine nun si Abraham, parang he was instructed to go up the mountain. Imagine if he did not climb the mountain, he would not have seen God's provision. And we're not sure how God would have reassured the promises. But he was able to see it there kasi he obeyed to climb the mountain. So, ayun. So, yun yung encounter na parang na somehow I can relate with or experience yun. After the brokenness, going to the, promise fulfilled. Thank you!
Yes. So, di tsaka ano naman din yun, totoo. Di ba parang syempre we don't like to be in that spot na feeling natin ang hirap. Di ba? Kaya nga ang ginagawa natin, i-enjoy lang natin, di ba? Yung mga difficult moments na yun. Pero if we persevere, yes, God would show us na, ito pala yung gusto niya makuha natin. Ito pala yung gusto niya makita natin. Ito pala yung tinatransform niya sa atin. Parang ganyan. Yun.
Yes.
Oo, sige. Ako naman, so dun sa broken na part, no? So I was reminded yun, parang no 2016, that was the time kasi na, ano, I felt like Jacob. Oo, na parang I really wrestled with God. Yun. So yun yung time kasi na first na-diagnose si Daddy. Ayan. Ayun, na-diagnose kasi siya ng cancer in 2016. So, nung time na yun, sobrang na-surprise kami kasi parang we were not really, we don't have any clue na meron pala siyang ganong condition. Yun. So what happened was, sumakit lang yung tiyan niya. Tapos parang biglang nag-ER sila ni mama. Tapos biglang kailangan na siya i-confine. Yun. Tapos parang at that time talaga, parang nung nandun na siya sa hospital, parang nabanggit kasi sa akin ng sister ko no, na parang okay, iti-test nila yung nakabarang mass dun sa colon ni Daddy. Tapos sabi nung sister ko, kasi doctor siya, sabi niya yun nga, parang titignan kung cancerous or not, ganyan. Pero siya pala, medyo may hint na siya na cancerous. Kasi the fact na nakabara, yun. So anyway, parang at the time talaga, alam mo yung parang pag narinig mo kasi yung word na cancer, di ba? Parang you feel like, ito na po yung end. Parang ganon. So parang I felt like ganon talaga siya. O na parang, I remember really just parang talking to God. Tatampo ko nun kay God. Tapos parang sabi ko talaga sa kanya. Sabi ko, Lord, hindi pwedeng cancer to kay Daddy. Parang ganyan. Tapos parang, at that time kasi, parang ang pinakita sa akin ni God, actually feeling ko nga parang hinayaan niya muna ako. Parang bata, hinayaan niya muna ako ilabas yun. Pero eventually, parang, um, he also, I guess, he also showed me who he really is. Yun. Kasi nangyari nun, parang, um, yung sa Job kasi, di ba? Parang dun sa first few parts nun, puro si Job, tapos yung mga kaibigan niya. Pero, parang si God, parang he was not correcting si Job, 'di ba? Or yung mga kaibigan niya kahit mali na yung mga sinasabi nila. Pero it was at the latter chapters, 30 plus yun when God spoke. And when he spoke, they were unable to say anything. Kasi what God was saying, tatanong niya sila, Parang, alam nyo ba kung parang, do you know, parang yung measure ng ganito, alam nyo ba kung ano yung storehouses ng snow, ganyan. So parang that was the time na parang feeling ko talaga, inano ko ni God, na parang natahimik na lang ako, shucks Lord, hindi. Si God ka po. Yun. And the thing is, yun nga, parang, actually since then, yun, parang since then, so, tumagal si dati sa hospital noon, no, yun. Pero parang after several, parang series of chemo naman yun, parang naging okay din siya. Yun. So, actually, currently, nag-undergo siya ulit ng chemo. Yun. Pero, I'm really just reminded na parang God already showed us His miracle before. Yun. So, He's going to show His miracle again. Yun. Tapos, iba lang din talaga, no, yung parang conviction nung time na yun. Parang sobrang na-experience ko talaga yung faithfulness ni God. Yun. And how hindi pala end. Okay, hindi end ang cancer. That was back in 2016, diba? Yun, so si daddy ngayon, nagti-treatment siya ulit. Pero malakas pa din siya. Yan, so we're believing for another miracle. Yan. Um, pero anyway, it was also hard for me at that time. And parang feeling ko ganun din naman paminsan sa mga ibang tao. Parang may part of you na of course you're worried about your loved ones, but at the same time, may mga iba ka pa rin mga kailangan gawin. Yun. So, paminsan parang ganun din yung challenge. I think, di ba ngayon, nag-work din yan or being an entrepreneur, yun. Pero, parang, during those times, grabe lang yung grace ni God. Yun, oo. Sobrang, sobrang grabe lang yung grace niya. Na, as in, nung time talaga na yun, yung nag-work ako, yun nga, parang naging focus ko lang talaga nun is parang, basta gagawin ko kung ano yung mga kailangan kong gawin for today. Pero wala akong na-miss. Oo. Naaalala ko nga, papa-team building pa ako nun. Mag-autopilot ako. Oo, parang,
Oh my.
okay, come the next day, okay, may mini team building ako, magpapa-mini team building ako, ganyan. Tapos okay naman, oo. Pero yun nga, syempre, di ba, parang, hindi ko siya kaya i-sustain if I'm just gonna draw really for my own strength. Yun. So, sobrang doon ko talaga nakita yung supernatural strength lang from God that He's gonna sustain me. Yun. Tapos naalala ko rin nun, parang, well, may isang instance lang doon na, as in, I really had to take a leave. Yun. Tapos sobrang grateful ako nun kasi feeling ko talaga parang may mga times na when I acknowledge before God that I can do it, siya yung magpapadala ng angels. So, ang galing lang, as in yung ka-team ko talaga, alam mo yung mga ka-team ko noon, as in may sumalo dun sa kailangan gawin, yung mga ganyan, yun. Pero yun nga, parang for most parts, nagagawa siya, pero hindi ko talaga siya strength. Kasi feeling ko, alam mo yung sabaw ka, tapos feeling mo, hindi, kailangan na matapos ko to, kailangan ko siya ma-replyan, yung mga ganyan. Yun, so anyway, why am I saying this? Yun, let's not fear yung mga moments na weak tayo. Kasi feeling ko talaga, those are the times that God can do so much more through us. And those are the times that He's going to show to us ano pa yung mga feeling natin hindi natin kaya, but by His strength, we can do it so much better. Yun. So, yan. Kung kayo man, meron kayong mga moments of weakness, one, find people that you can talk to. Kami, chat nyo kami, mag-comment kayo dyan. Para may interaction,
Down the road.
kunwari. Yes. Please comment. Okay, yan. Hindi, pero
Yes, comment.
aside,
Don't be shy.
yes, pero aside from that, yun, I guess really drawing strength from God. He's a great God who comforts, and His grace is so much real during those times na feeling mo talaga wala ka ng pagkukunan ng lakas. Yun. And just continue persevering. Continue persevering. Yun. And at the right time, when things are better, you're gonna be surprised that how you have gone through what you have gone through is necessary pala kung nasaan ka. You're going to have that realization, and you're never gonna be the same again. Yan. So parang si Jacob, yun, when he had that encounter with God, when he wrestled with God, when he endured yung mga difficulties then, and he remained in the presence of God, he was never the same again. Yan. Okay, yun lang. So,
Oh, thank you. Parang ano talaga, this topic, it's so real to all of us. We don't talk about it whenever we want to encourage people. Whenever we want to share about our faith. Pause tayo dun sa mga good things, amazing things. But just like how God would use our brokenness, that's also how we can help other people. Yun. One thing mentioned earlier, through our brokenness, we learn about empathy, about compassion. We'd have the heart to restore, to help in restoration of cities, of community, kasi we've gone through it. And I think one important thing also about going through like brokenness or weaknesses or failures, it's always God would reveal himself more, even better, in a fresher way. Like tayo, we can be sure of our faith kasi we were there during our lowest times and we know how much God saved us. Not just the first time we experienced salvation, but many times over. Kasi we are never enough as one person, as a group. We always need God, no matter how mature we are, or no matter how childlike we are, or in every season, you know, God is the one that um God is the faithful one, and God is the one who would carry us and save us. Yon. Ayun.
Can I end with a verse lang, Andrew? So
Sure.
I just got reminded of Paul and the thorn in the flesh. So this is from 2 Corinthians 12. So this is the time na may thorn in the flesh si Paul, and he was pleading to God that the thorn gets taken away. In fact, it says here, verse 8, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And I just I'm just so overwhelmed lang with it, with our discussion tonight, because it just made me more grateful with the times that yung weakest points natin, that is the time talaga that he showed his glory even more, because without those weaknesses we will be proud, we would try to do things our own way, and that is yun nga, very tiring. And at the end of the day, nakakapagod to live life on our own strength. But it's during these moments that God will just fill those voids, fill our weaknesses. And minsan He won't take away the weakness, because that is what keeps us grounded and humbled.
Totoo.
Aw, thank you. So we are all speechless. Ganon tayo tinamaan sa topic.
Oo, maganda yung topic.
Aw.
Ayan. Sige, so we would have to say goodbye na for now. Pero may next week pa, right? So may aabangan
Yes.
pa kayo ulit, ha? Alright, sige. Bye, everyone!
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.